Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 16 of Play-by-Play, the daily wrestling podcast with me, Atif Nawaz, your host, and featuring this, as always, as this podcast features, it's Mr. Arman Kirmani. He's back again after being an absentee yesterday. He was busy making movies or promoting movies or something to do with movies. He's a big movie star. How's it going, man? Welcome back.
I'm doing The Rock. I'm making a comeback special appearance. I'm not here to endorse anybody, but I just thought I'd come back from Hollywood quickly to do this podcast. I'm on a busy schedule, so let's just get on with it, yeah?
Sure, absolutely, man, absolutely. So it's going to be a heck of a podcast. As always, let's start by thanking our wonderful partners at eWrestlingNews.com. eWrestling News is a fantastic website for wrestling news, for articles, everything. Make sure you get over there, check it out, and keep up to date with what's going on. And also our friends at TopRopePress.com. They are phenomenal at everything they do. Today, it's episode 16. We're going to be talking a little bit more about Roman Reigns. We're going to be exploring Roman Reigns and the way he's been booked of late, whether the track he's been put on is the right track. I know Arman has some very strong views about this. He didn't get a chance to vent about the Royal Rumble, so we're going to hear his thoughts on the Rumble as well. A little bit later, I had the chance to meet Bobby Lashley, TNA Impact Heavyweight Champion today. I had a good 30-minute chat with Bobby Lashley today. And I'll tell you a little bit more about some of the crazy comments he made, so that's going to be fun. And yeah, so let's kick things off. Armand, how do you feel about Roman Reigns? Specifically, tell me, do you think WWE were right to pull the trigger on Reigns and have him win the Royal Rumble?
Well, I think they made the decision quite early on, early on in their year, which obviously starts after Mania. So, they've been pushing him, they've been building him. I know he got his injury. We had lots of hints, even in their sort of opening thing where we have his face last now in the montage before WWE programming starts. So, I think it was predictable. I think to an extent we were hoping that, there may be some surprises. The thing with the Rumble is there's so many opportunities, and they did build it up pretty well this year with the promotion. So we were kind of thinking if they went for a swerve, it could make it more interesting. And in fact, I think what happened is the fact that they stuck to their plans for once was the swerve in the end. And I think that's what kind of threw a lot of people off. I mean, I know we'll come on to the Daniel Bryan issue in a second. But I actually have no problems with Roman Reigns getting that push. I have no problems with him winning. And I think he is the right choice because if I think about him main eventing, I can think of so many feuds that would be good to watch. Obviously, once he sort of develops his in-ring persona and his mic persona a bit over the next couple of years, but Reigns versus Brock is good. Reigns versus Cena works. Reigns versus Rollins works. Reigns versus Ambrose works. Reigns versus Rusev works. That could take WWE. You will have a new main eventer. He could last 2 to 3 years on just those 4 or 5 feuds, and there's some really good wrestlers in there. So I don't really see a big deal. I mean, I know the crowd was booing, but they were only booing because they weren't happy with the way Daniel Bryan was treated, and I agree that the booking was bad to an extent. I mean, to an extent, it was also good because they got Daniel Bryan out of the ring before Reigns got in, so there wasn't going to be any sort of conflict there in terms of Reigns with Bryan. But I mean, I think they really should have made a big. They missed an opportunity because firstly, they shouldn't have got rid of him just like that. That was offensive to the fans. It was quite a mediocre sort of elimination. There was no big deal. There was no big spot. But had they done that, they could have built up a good feud. Which they've done in the past with big names like Michaels, for example. When he made his comeback, people wanted him to always do the magic that he always did. But they made a big deal out of him getting eliminated. So that's what I think the big problem was. The problem was not even the fact that Reigns won, and I think it's evident is the way that Bryan's elimination, the mediocre style with which he got eliminated, deflated the rest of the Rumble really, and so I think the right person won, but he could have won in a better way. And this whole thing with The Rock coming out, that was a disgrace. I mean, Reigns does not need. That's the last thing you want your main eventer to need is an endorsement by a legend from 20 years ago or 10 years ago, whatever it is.
Well, he looked a lot weaker for it, I have to say. I think the plan was, I'm sure WWE anticipated getting somewhat a negative reaction to Reigns, so they thought had he got that celebrity rub, that rub from this legacy star that is The Rock, he would get over bigger. But I mean, you raised loads of really interesting points there. Now, Roman Reigns, I know yesterday I talked a lot about the Rumble and what I thought about it, and I just want to be absolutely clear. I have absolutely no issue with Roman Reigns winning. I think I don't think he was the right guy. I just don't for this year. But if he wins, it's not the end of the world, not for me. And I'm happy to continue kind of seeing how he goes. But I just thought there was loads of missed opportunities. They had to know how people would respond to Brian being eliminated in the way that he was, and it kind of ruined the moment for Reigns. It showed on Reigns' face after the Rumble. He was so disheartened by the reaction that he got. It must be devastating. He just as somebody who's grown up with wrestling and just been dreaming about that moment of winning the Rumble, and he knows he's going to be the star one day. He knows he's been endorsed by the company. They see him like he was Triple H's pick from day one to be the next big star. And he's in that big moment, and he must have been so disappointed with the response. But I just to back you on this point, I don't have any issue with him winning. I do feel bad for him that the crowd turned on him so aggressively, but I understand why the crowd was upset. Now, you were going to mention the Daniel Bryan thing. How did you feel about the way he went out, and how do you kind of just talk to me a little bit about Daniel Bryan?
I'll talk about it. I just want to add one thing about Reigns. I mean, the fact that he's getting a negative reaction, I think it only helped. I mean, yes, we would have liked him to have his moment and everything, but, I think it's made the product a lot more engaging. The fact that, in my opinion, the WWE are working the smarks. They're working the Philadelphia crowd. And I think they, as you said rightly, they knew what reaction they were going to get. And that's why they had The Rock there in the first place. And you've got to understand, the internet is a massive, massive audience now, right? A lot of people, they have to work this demographic, which is the smart demographic, the internet demographic. And I think this is part of their strategy going forward, because you can't let the inmates or the audience run the show. And I think that, all this negative reaction that people are sort of coming out with, that they shouldn't have done this and cancel WWE Network. Okay, that's going a little bit far. I agree that that's probably not what their intention is. But at the same time, it's giving us so much to talk about, and there's so much intrigue over what will happen on Raw. I mean, the fact is, Raw itself doesn't actually draw you to want to watch the following episode. That's the truth. People are not enjoying Raw. Most people aren't even watching it live, especially internationally. So actually, when events like this happen, and they're not stupid behind the scenes. They've been doing this for a while. Don't forget, their babyface, John Cena, has been booed for the last 10 years almost now, right? Yeah. So it's not big news to them. They've worked it, but look how much money they've drawn because of the audience having an extreme view. Listen, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, I think it's great that Roman Reigns is getting a reaction, negative or positive. This is him becoming a draw. People want to watch him. If we just got him there, the boyhood dream comes true. God, we've seen that in '96. People, get over it. We've got the network. You can watch it 10 times. This is a new age, new people, new social media interaction, new smart fans, new crowd, and this is exactly what's going to happen, because the WWE cannot put their storylines and book their storylines in accordance with what the fans want all the time, because otherwise it becomes stale. And that's exactly what they're trying to go against. So they have to work the crowd to get people to draw. And look, Cena's been booed since 2005, right? And the fact of the matter is, he's still the best-selling merchandise seller. I think there was a period with CM Punk was there, and in fact, it's only made children and women, which are his demographic, even stronger and more supportive of him. And I know I don't fall into that category, but those are people like me who do like John Cena and do think he's doing a great job and do buy into his gimmick and appreciate for what it is, that he is aiming for the PG era.
Well, man, I completely agree. Listen, I like you. I have loads of respect for John Cena, and what he does, especially outside the ring, his commitment to being the man for WWE, and that means going to all the corporate events, doing all the media appearances, the Make-A-Wish Foundation. He's just a fantastic asset.
Yeah, hang on. I want to interrupt you there, because I'm not just referring to his out-of-ring work, which is great, and there's a lot of respect. Forget all of that. I'm talking about in his ring work. He's put over all of the new stars at one point or another, whether it was CM Punk, whether it was The Shield, whether it was the Nexus, whether it was the guy who ended up dancing, Lord Tensai, or whatever the joke.
Tensai,
He has maintained main event status yet he has put over everybody. And that is his and he's had some great matches as well. He's had great feuds with Edge. He had great feuds with CM Punk. He had lots and lots of really good matches over the years. Orton, even Triple H, whatever. So I think he doesn't get the due credit for his in-ring work. I agree. He needs to.
I'm with you. He doesn't. I think people do turn, and a lot of the younger demographic, the hardcore fans, they do turn on Cena too quickly. But I do understand that as well. It's also the way his character is positioned, the kind of promos that he does.
But the point I'm making is it doesn't matter if you boo him. The fact that you boo him makes him more watchable. The same people booing him are the same people tuning in week after week after week. And because the fans feel part of the show. And this is what I'm saying. I think people need to understand just because the fans are booing, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think that's a tremendous thing because it means you're now getting Roman Reigns, who's the new person to be booed. You're going to draw opinion and you're going to divide opinion. And if you divide opinion, you're going to have style. You're going to have a controversy. And, as Eric Bischoff says,
controversy creates crash. Eric Bischoff said it, but there's the danger, man. Like here's what happens at WrestleMania, right? You get Reigns and Brock Lesnar going at it. Now, to their credit, they did a really good promo yesterday on Raw, which they had to do this kind of go around Raw, where they in the end they ended up doing it from WWE headquarters. They couldn't actually do an arena show like they normally do, and there were a lot of interviews in the show, and I thought they were all really good interviews. It's quite telling, really, that in this era where everything is scripted, the performers are so much more comfortable when there's no audience there. I mean, Roman Reigns, his segment that closed Raw with Brock Lesnar, that was the best he has ever looked on WWE television.
And there's no reason why he's not going to develop over there. I mean, I'm listening to people saying, oh, he doesn't have a moveset and he's not a good worker. Hang on a minute. These were the same people for the last 2.5 years when the Shield was together saying that, oh, this is the best trio we've seen. Not one person ever wrote an article. Not one person ever did a podcast. Not one person ever made a statement that Roman Reigns is a weak link in the Shield because he can't work.
But that's different. As a trio, that's different. You can hide people's weaknesses in a group of three. You can't. So if Seth Rollins, for example, was in the position Roman Reigns is right now, or even Dean Ambrose to an extent, I think people would find it easier to get behind them because they've shown a lot of development in different areas. Reigns doesn't have the promo of an Ambrose. He doesn't have the in-ring work of a Rollins. What he has is the look. He looks like a prototype superstar.
It's a completely different. That's like saying Brock Lesnar doesn't have the moveset that Shawn Michaels does. That's crazy.
No. That's completely different.
Hold on. That's a great. Roman Reigns is going to be a powerhouse. He's going to fight style, not necessarily like Brock, because Brock's obviously a proper fighter, but he's going to be of that mold. You're not going to see Reigns consistently going up to the top ropes and doing flips. You're not going to see that, right?
But fans' expectations have changed, man. What they want from the big star, what they want from their big face, is someone like a CM Punk, someone like a Daniel Bryan, and now someone like a Seth Rollins. They want guys.
That's nonsense. It doesn't matter what you want. It's about what draws. John Cena has 5 moves of doom, and he's drawing. Okay.
Yeah, so Daniel Bryan has an amazing moveset, and he draws more than John Cena.
No, I disagree because we've got no proof to say that Daniel Bryan has drawn for 10 years.
Daniel Bryan's TV segments, but in that run up to WrestleMania last year and in the post WrestleMania period, were the best rated segments on Raw.
No, hold on. You cannot compare Daniel Bryan to John Cena because he's not achieved what John Cena's achieved.
Okay. The only thing he doesn't have, John Cena's had a longer run. John Cena's been around for 10, 15, 12, I don't know how many years now.
That's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. The only time you can make that statement is once Daniel Bryan has actually main evented and led the company for a period of 10 years, which John Cena's done. We can't compare that. The point I'm making is a fact. It's not an opinion, right? That somebody without a complex moveset can draw and has stayed at the main event. And that's what Roman Reigns can and has the potential to develop and do, right? If Roman Reigns became the next John Cena, the WWE will not complain. Believe me.
But here's the thing. That's not
the way to the bank.
But that's not the thing. So this is you're going the wrong track here completely. That's not what I'm trying to say. If indeed he is going to develop a different moveset, if indeed he is going to become this star, then wait for him to become that star. Wait for him to get in a position where he's actually accepted by some of the fans. He has some momentum. He's doing good promos, or his promos are at least getting better, or he's getting better in the ring. He's finding a more dimension to his style. Right now, the fans have rejected him because there's better stars on the roster. I mean, Wade Keller, who's on the Steve Austin podcast recently, made this very interesting point, which is he doesn't understand why WWE has to think so long term all the time. Oh, sure, Reigns could be the next John Cena. He could lead the company for 10, 15 years. Absolutely. He's at the right age. He's got the right kind of look. Hang on. I'm not finished yet. Hold on. Right. Okay. So why can't they just milk Daniel Bryan? Even if Daniel Bryan is only around for another 6, 12, 18 months, why don't they ride that gravy train? They can make money with Daniel Bryan. He's already proved that he can draw. He's been drawing really strong ratings in all of his quarter hours. That is fact, my friend. That's not opinion. Go back and look at the ratings and all the quarter-hour breakdowns that you can get now. Daniel Bryan always draws.
Brock was wrestling and he didn't have the title, and we didn't need him to have the title because actually he was drawing without the title anyways. The same is true. Hold on. The same is true for Daniel Bryan. He doesn't need to be in the main event to draw. People will tune in, support him, and follow him. So, as a business decision, if you've got a main event and a card coming up at WrestleMania, you've had Daniel Bryan and his moment at WrestleMania 30, and you've given him that story. Why not get a card where you're going to have a really good match in terms of its promotion between Reigns and Brock? I want to watch it. I definitely think it's a better fight for me to watch as an audience member. I'd rather watch that than Daniel Bryan overcoming the odds 2 years in a row. I know there's other people that might want to watch Brock versus Bryan, but that's fine. There can be different opinions there. But the fact is that Bryan will still draw at Mania. So why is that a problem if Bryan is going to draw and he's not in the main event? Reigns is going to draw in the main event with Brock, and you're going to have probably Sting and Triple H, which is going to draw a WCW fanatic audience as well. So it's just ludicrous to sit there and say and complain and cry and moan that, oh, the WWE have got it wrong. You got a 5-star match at the Rumble. You didn't get Daniel Bryan's spot, which is admittedly a mistake by the WWE, and I think
it killed the whole match. See, this is my problem with the way they booked it. They completely ruined any chance Roman Reigns had of having a positive finish to that match. Roman Reigns should have won that match looking like the man.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It makes no difference because it's drawn audiences, it's divided opinion, and it's going to be better because you'll get more viewers engaging on Raw. You'll get
Sorry, man. You're the only person in the world that thinks that. You're literally the only person.
Well, I'm the only person, or it's not. That's my opinion.
The way the Royal Rumble, listen, dude, trust me, the way the Royal Rumble has happened is not a good thing. Nobody in the WWE after the Royal Rumble was popping champagne thinking, wow, we've just done something amazing. They were probably frantic. They know that the crowd turned on them.
That's fine. It's good. It's good. I was frantic in a lot of things that have happened before, but it still engages me to watch it to see what's going to happen next.
I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about the fans. I'm talking about behind the scenes. They weren't thinking of that as a positive event. They know that that was a huge, huge letdown for fans. It absolutely was. And it's not just the Daniel Bryan thing, but they have to recognize, look, I'm with you. He doesn't have to be in the main event necessarily. I can accept that. They want to put somebody else in. They want to experiment. That's fine. I can accept that. I'll watch my Daniel Bryan.
I don't agree with you. I don't think that McMahon and Triple H are sitting there with their head in their hands thinking we've destroyed the Rumble, oh, this was such a bad idea. I disagree. I think what they've done is realize that they're onto money, what they've realized, what they've done is they've divided opinion, and they knew at some point there's going to be a conflict while Bryan is on the card and on the show, and they push somebody else. They're aware of this. They're not stupid. I don't know why you think.
Listen, they thought if they thought that, they wouldn't bother bringing The Rock in. They would have, oh, you know what? Let's have negative opinion for Roman Reigns because that's what we want. If they did that, why would they bother spending the time and the money bringing The Rock in? The Rock was there as an insurance plan to make sure Reigns got the positive reaction, and he didn't. He didn't get the positive reaction that they wanted. They completely failed. They did not get the outcome that they wanted. Sure, the world title match was amazing, and everybody's giving it credit for putting a 5-star, 4-star match. That's not a point. That's not the point. The people were firmly behind Daniel Bryan, and they just threw him out of the Rumble like he was Fandango or something.
Okay, so because you don't get one of your stars booked in the way that you want, you boo the rest of the stars that you've been cheering for the last...
Because the rest of the match becomes a foregone conclusion.
You complain, you moan, you want to cancel the network. An hour earlier, you just saw a 5-star best-of triple threat match. You're a joke. This kind of an opinion is completely invalid. It doesn't matter. You're free and entitled. Anyone is entitled to have it. And I understand that people are frustrated. I'm frustrated. I want to see Bryan in a good feud. He's a good worker, and he's going to draw. He will main event many Manias in the future. But that doesn't mean just because he hasn't been booked in the way that you run a campaign to change the main event, you cancel your WWE network and all of this. It's not going to happen. It's nonsense.
It's not just that.
Daniel Bryan was injured for 8 months.
Bryan's elimination made it so the Rumble would not be entertaining. That's a fact. And I'll tell you why. Because the minute he went over that top rope, to nothing, by the way, not setting up any feuds, no moments, no nothing. The minute he went over that top rope, it was crystal clear that Roman Reigns was going to win. And the
I
fans
agree.
were already not behind Roman Reigns.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you. There's no discussion about the quality of the Rumble. The Rumble's quality was poor. There were not enough good
But
spots.
it's not just about the match quality, though. WWE expected a better response than that.
Well, hold on.
So
Hold on. The only way you're satisfied is if Daniel Bryan makes the final 2 or the final 3 or the final 4, and unless that happens, you're going to cancel your network. Go on,
that makes sense. That makes sense.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't have to make sense. It's not your show. You're not the creative writer. None of these people are who are complaining. Yes, you're frustrated. If you're really that frustrated, switch off. But you're not going to switch off because you still care. You're still going to watch. This is a program, and this is what happens. Sometimes when you watch a TV show, they kill off your favorite character. Watch Lost. I did. It was fantastic. One of the best ever rated shows. One of the most famous. It does frustrate you, but you still watch it because it's a story. It's creative. It's fiction. Get over it.
But this is completely different. Wrestling is different. Wrestling relies on its fans, on its live audience. They want that opinion. They want that opinion from everybody. They want people to interact with them, and they beg them at events like Taboo Tuesday, Cyber Saturday. They ask for this fan votes on the app. They want people to get involved. They want people to tweet. They want that opinion. Fans have to exercise their opinion, and they have a right to. They consume that product. They're consumers. Sure, if they don't like the product, they have absolutely every reason, every right in the world to turn around and say, this is a shoddy product. I don't like it, and I will threaten to stop using it unless you sort it out. That was a substandard Royal Rumble. A five-star match in the main event.
I've seen better Rumbles. I've seen better Rumbles, but where were all these people the year Sheamus won the Rumble? Where were all these people when Del Rio won the Rumble?
They were there. But at the time when Sheamus and Del Rio won their Rumbles, there wasn't a star there that people got behind as the way they had with Daniel Bryan. And that's what frustrates all these hardcore fans that like him, because at the moment he's got the best connection with the fans, and they're wasting that. Fine. They don't want to put him in the main event. Understand that. As you say, it's their company, it's their show. They can do whatever they want. But why do they wreck Daniel Bryan and also wreck Roman Reigns in the process? He's not become a bigger star because of that Rumble. If anything,
well, time will tell. Time will tell. It's completely way too early to say that Reigns isn't going to become a star. He's not even main evented yet.
Oh, I'm not saying that. But they've set him back a long way. And I heard a lot of people.
No, they haven't. That's absolute nonsense. They've not done anything. If anything, they've given him the biggest push of his life. And you just admitted 10 minutes ago that Reigns gave the best promo you've seen him give on TV less than 12 hours.
The point I was making was he made that promo when there were no fans there. He could only do that promo without the pressure of fans when he knew it was being taped for a TV segment.
There's more pressure on him every week. It's nonsense to say because the fans aren't there when he's doing the segment with Renee Young just behind the screen as well. So that's absolute nonsense, all right?
No, it's not, because that is live to the fans in the stadium. That was a pre-taped segment that they could do over and over again. They could change their angles. They had it was just Brock Lesnar, the tech crew there. There's no ramifications.
They've done plenty of tape shows of Raw before, and he'll be absolutely fine. It's absolutely baseless to suggest that Roman Reigns won't develop on live TV with an audience.
Roman Reigns may develop. Absolutely. I suspect that he will eventually develop. That's not the problem. The problem is by hot-shotting him into the position of winning the Royal Rumble, by putting him in a match with Brock Lesnar, where it's very likely that unless they do something drastic to change that up, either make it a triple threat or do a double turn or turn unless Reigns turns heel or Brock Lesnar becomes the face, there is absolutely no way. Right now, I can tell you, I promise you, my friend, and write this down, that San Francisco crowd is going to boo the crap out of that match. It's going to be Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar. It's going to be completely disastrous for WWE if they go in as is, unless, of course, Brock goes in as the face and Reigns goes in as the heel. And then as a heel, if Brock was to lose to the heel Reigns, then you might be onto something. But that's not the way it's been positioned so far. That's not the way they pretend they went to.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all.
Sorry, do you think, honestly, do you honestly think, and just think about it.
Yeah, I do. Let me speak, right?
One second. Just tell me.
The match that happened between Brock and Goldberg, the reason it got booed was, firstly, both of them were leaving. The second thing is, you had Austin in the crowd, who was completely over. The third thing is, they both put on one of the worst matches because they were both reluctant to put each other over. So, the truth is that I agree with you. They are going to get booed if they don't put on a good match. This is an opportunity. If Reigns and Lesnar tear down the house, put on one of the best main events that Mania's seen, even if they're booing at the start, by the end of it, my friend, they'll be cheering. And that's how you make a star. Not everyone goes into a main event.
I don't think you can risk that in a Mania main event. You have to
risk that, because that's the way you create stars. That's how you show people that this is what opportunity is. This is how you take it. This is how you get that brass ring. If The Miz can main event Mania and win, right? There's no way that you can say to me that Reigns doesn't deserve a spot after 3 years of getting out of the Shield, coming out as one of the stronger members, and having the physique, the look, and being able to carry himself enough to actually now have a promo with Brock that suggests that he's going to have a good main event. Now, one way or another, I'm not saying it's going to be a great match, but what I am saying is it's got the potential to be a great match. And if it has a great match, doesn't matter what crowd it is, Philadelphia, New York, or San Francisco, they're going to be cheering if it's a good match.
I don't think they're going to get. I don't think they will, to be honest with you. I don't think WWE can risk that. There's absolutely no way WWE can risk having the crowd boo the crap out of the main event of WrestleMania. It's just not feasible, and it would be a stupid business decision to do that. If they know they're not getting behind it, they have to do something to heat up that issue. It doesn't matter if they go in there and have the match of the year. The fans will turn against it. WWE fans are stubborn people. If they really wanted, they could have given the rest of the Rumble a chance yesterday. Though I have to tell you, I don't think there was anything after the Rumble. You didn't even get that Kofi Kingston spot that you normally get every year properly. He kind of went into the Rosebuds, which that didn't, it just.
I'm agreeing with you, man. The booking for the Rumble was awful.
This is where I want you to agree with me, right? This is where I want you to be on the same page.
Take away Bryan, take away Reigns. Let's just forget those for a second. That's a separate topic, okay? The booking of this, let's look at some of the highlights. DDP came back, he looked in shape, he was okay. You had Baba Ray coming back, he was looking good, he's still over, that was okay. Apart from those two things, I don't think I remember anything else that made me think this is good. Apart from, I'll tell you, I was very impressed with Rusev. You know I've been going Rusev for the Rumble all the way. Actually, if you listen to Stone Cold's podcast, he's put him over big time today, saying he definitely sees main event potential in him. I know Wade Keller had slight disagreements, but the fact is Rusev showed a very good showing at the Rumble. Now, apart from that, I'm really struggling to see anything in that 1 hour match that really was entertaining. But yes, I think, and you know, the column that you mentioned on the show yesterday, that was on What Culture, where that slated the fact that Kane and the Big Show were in the final three. Final four technically, if you think Rusev was still there. I completely agree that was terrible. But the same thing, I'm still thinking deep down, if you take away the smart audience and you look at just children who watch the product, they probably still think of Big Show and Kane as the part of the authority and dangerous big stars, especially with Kane's record also, which no one's ever going to remember or really care about, going to 40 or surpassing Michaels. So maybe it still makes sense to children, and it doesn't make sense to people like us who've grown up watching the product, because now we're smarks and we understand the behind the scenes. But it's terrible. But who else were you going to feed to Reigns if you were going to book him at the end? You are going to give the biggest guys. You've given him Big Show, you've given him Kane, you've given him Rusev. Who else would they have given him?
No, I see what you mean, dude. We're actually running out of time. We've run long, so we haven't had a chance to talk about the other things we wanted to talk about. I think I'll tell you guys all about Lashley tomorrow.
Arthur, guess what? We're a daily podcast. They can't avoid us. Tomorrow we'll talk about everything.
That's right. We'll come back with everything tomorrow that we couldn't cover today. We got into this heated little debate about Roman Reigns, and just so you're absolutely clear on what I think, right? I think Roman. I don't doubt that Roman Reigns will be a star over the long term. Having him in the main event of WrestleMania right now, for me, is a mistake. The way the Royal Rumble came across yesterday, I think it was a misfire, and I don't accept that it was planned the way it came across, or the way it's been received. I don't think WWE was anticipating that negative response. Having said that, I think it's fair to congratulate WWE. The news came from them today that they've reached 1 million subscribers, and that's despite this cancelled WWE network hashtag. So 1 million subscribers of WWE, which is very, very well done to them. And there's a segment that we didn't cover yesterday, which I'm sure you guys have missed, and that's Match of the Day and the Dean Douglas Award of the day as well. Arman, do you have a Match of the Day? Sorry, it was your Dean Douglas Award of the day that we spoke about last week on Friday. Now, I made the audience wait for this because you weren't there yesterday, and I wanted you to have the pleasure yourself of giving the answer. It's actually, I beg your pardon, it's my Match of the Day today, but it is your question of the day answer. So what have you got for us?
So the question I asked was which tag team eliminated Hulk Hogan from a Royal Rumble, and as we know, Hulk Hogan's actually appeared in 4 Rumbles and he's won 2 of them. 1990, 91 he won, 92 he was in the final three, and got eliminated, I think, by Sid Justice, and was involved in a controversial ending. But he was actually also in Royal Rumble 1989. And funnily enough, this is really relevant to today's show. For all those people crying and moaning about Daniel Bryan's innocuous ending, go and watch Royal Rumble 1989 and go and watch and find out, because nobody gave me the right answer. There was a tag team between Akeem and Big Boss Man that very casually just threw Hulk Hogan over the top rope and eliminated him. So the Rumble was won by somebody else that they were building to become a star. Whether it worked or it didn't, that's a different question. But this is my point, that today is the most perfect question and it's the most perfect episode to tell you guys it doesn't matter. A star will always rise through adversity, and Daniel Bryan is going to main event many. This is a way to draw new money with new stars and build a new legacy and a new era. So that was my answer. And do you have your? Is it your question of the day today, Arthur?
It is. You actually ended up doing both last time, so I've got both.
Sure.
And I will give you my question of the day first as well. And I want to stay on this theme a little bit. Now, Paul Heyman did a promo yesterday with Roman Reigns, where he talked about a lot of his family and all the family members that Roman Reigns is related to. He also mentioned his father, who was the tag team partner of a wrestler called Arthur, right, in the Samoans tag team. I want to know, what was Roman Reigns' father's name when he wrestled for WWF? And it was called WWF at the time, so there's the clues in the question. What was the name of Roman Reigns' father when he wrestled for WWF? That's the question. Match of the day, just to wind you up, Arman, because we've been having a heated debate, so just to wind you up, I'm going to put one of my favorite matches, right, that I really enjoyed. It's the main event of WrestleMania 30, Daniel Bryan versus Batista and Randy Orton in the main event of WrestleMania 30.
You got to wake up a lot earlier than myself, my friend, to take me for a ride, because I'm up at 6 o'clock every day. I'm not going for a ride, and the truth of the matter is, WrestleMania 30 was great for Bryan. The right man won, and I have no problems. I have no idea why backing Reigns equals to not backing Bryan. That's
no, you're right. No, that I will agree with you on. It shouldn't be one or the other. There's no reason why both couldn't be happy. I think people are misplacing a lot of their anger about the Bryan's treatment on Reigns, and I don't think that's fair. Reigns, for whatever he's done, he's in that spot now. He didn't really deserve to be booed out of the building at the Royal Rumble, but I understand the fans' frustration. If they could boo Vince or Stephanie or Triple H or whomever was in the booking team, I think that would be fairer, but that's not the way wrestling works. Somebody has to be the scapegoat, and for the audience, it was Roman Reigns. I challenge him, and I welcome this next 2-month period to see if Roman Reigns can rise to the occasion, see if he can build himself as something. I'll very happily eat my words if come WrestleMania time I'm actually excited about a Brock Lesnar Roman Reigns match, because I promise you, my friends, right now, not even close. I'm thinking about the undercard, which will probably be Sting and Triple H, and I'm curious to see what Bryan's going to do, and I'm very curious to see what they do with returning stars like Orton and Sheamus, and of course their special attractions. And further to that, I'm very curious to see how they start building for the following year when they've got to sell 105,000 seats at WrestleMania. Can you imagine what the Rumble's going to be like next year? Jesus Christ, that's going to be a heck of a Rumble. Anyway, Arman, any parting thoughts?
I'm looking forward to Roman Reigns' promo with a live audience and the reaction he gets when he quotes Looney Tunes and Superman.
Excellent. Okay, great stuff. Well, guys and girls, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you tweet us, you email us, stay in touch with us. We like to hear from you guys. At PlayByPlay123 on Twitter, Facebook.com/PlayByPlayWrestling on Facebook, and questions at playbyplay123.co.uk for emails. So that brings us to a conclusion. I'm sorry you couldn't talk about Bobby Lashley and all the things he told me today that were very interesting, but we'll come to that tomorrow, hopefully, and we'll talk about all sorts of things tomorrow. But for now, thank you so much for joining us. From myself, from Arman, it's goodbye.
Goodbye.